the bag?
Yes, sir, listen, I'm a minor, sir. I have security guards. They left that in my bag, sir. I did not.
This is a little punk. Airport. Gun in the bag.
Yeah.
I go to private school. It's not mine, it's his gun.
Was making money, but he was spending it hand over fist, like you said.
Chrome heart jeans.
10 pairs were acquired. Figure it out. What would that be? $150,000. Big Meech is more than just a nickname. One whole movement exists. A street icon. He's a heavyweight in hip-hop history. All of them were founded on the empire of the Black Mafia family. However, as soon as his child Lil Meech grabs attention, that well-known gleam swiftly disappears. Do you remember the turmoil in the airport? His suitcase included a firearm. BMF is now more often associated with chaos than legacy because of Lil Meech's recent involvement in so many scandals. Let's be honest. Being Big Meech's son is undoubtedly a pressure. Extreme pressure. His attempts to uphold the gangster reputation appear to be a continuation of his father's. The steps seem shaky though, but to be honest, he doesn't look as built as his father based on all we've seen. Nobody sees a boss when they see Lil Meech. They witness an individual exerting tremendous effort to engage. Following the conflict, Big Meech created a dynasty out of the dirt. Lil Meech grew up in a cozy home, clean streets, a private school, and a life far different from what BMF had done. His public appearances with that gangster persona consequently seem forced. And what exactly was it that made people talk? Such snitching charges. That's a world where you might make a lot of blunders. But snitching
Gun in the bag.
Yeah.
I go to private school. It's not mine, it's his gun. You don't know my...
that is the one thing that will harm your reputation for all time. After that, he started to get sidelong glances. Everything started to go south in 2022 when he got embroiled in another issue at the airport. TSA officials found a Glock 19 in luggage that may have belonged to Lil Meech. Things soon started to go south after that. Rather than keeping his mouth shut, he started to run it heavily. His initial attempt was to claim that he was a minor at the age of 22. He later said that the gun, which was not even his, had been dropped inside the bag. Now go quickly, have that kind of talk. Although no one is put in jail, you soon become known as a snitch in the neighborhood. Lil Meech tried to keep his reputation intact by surrounding himself with real street people. Most likely thought it would promote the image of that tough person.
He really is, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of these people get caught up and stuck in character.
Lil Meech is not a gangster.
Not at all.
He's the son of a gangster.
After the body cam footage from the confrontation at the airport was made public, though, a lot of them bounced. It wasn't the intensity they wanted attached to their name. There were still a couple, though. One of them, Three was among them. Three remained steadfast, perhaps hoping that the chaos would end or that Lil Meech would at last prove he was a good fit for life. But that allegiance actually worked against him. Toward the middle of 2025, everything collapsed. Three publicly revealed Lil Meech's insane behavior on social media. He said that Lil Meech suddenly accused him of being responsible for a big event. The whole thing started on October 24, 2024. That day, Three was just following along, maybe out running some errands. However, he was not aware that the authorities were already watching everything he did and that Lil Meech was under investigation. Once the police had run the license plates and identified the driver, they pulled the automobile over. However, Meech did not stop right away. He hesitated as if he were about to begin running. Three fortunate passengers were unconscious in the passenger's seat, unaware of the chaos that was about to break out. The moment they pull into a parking lot, everything gets a little complicated. While Three is still unconscious, Lil Meech allegedly starts packing illegal objects off of himself and hiding them near Three seat. After a while, Three stops, and the cops show up there with lights blazing and sirens blaring, waking him up in utter confusion. He then abruptly notices the heat concealed next to him. In that moment, as he glances at Meech, it clicks. The person he thought would be there for him has turned on him.
Sir, my ID's in my bag.
In the bag?
Yes, sir, listen, I'm a minor, sir. I have security guards. They left that in my bag, sir. I did not pack my bag.
Well, we can get that all straightened out.
When officers removed them from the car, They separate them. There are only a handful of guns found when they first start looking through the ride. Florida is now here. This isn't about strict states like California or New York down there. There are fewer strict gun laws. It wasn't like the officers were tripping all that much. It seems like they would just release Lil Meech and 3 Luck. Then, though, Lil Meech does something nobody expected. He merely informs the cops without being questioned. He abruptly reveals that there is more illegal stuff in the car. I mean, why even say that? Unprompted, he shares further details that make a little problem worse. Besides, the police had asked about nothing else. The guns were the only thing they could think about.
Honestly, this is not pulling into the parking lot. It's stopped right now, but it's registered to Lil Meech.
Significant. Now the situation changed dramatically, with the involvement of weapons and other illegal products. A little later, 3 Lucks are taken into custody. He's the target of the charges. He is ultimately given a 40-month jail sentence. This is where the crazy starts. The fact that Lil Meech had told the police was initially unknown to 3 Luck. He had not realized that Meech had quietly snapped and accused him. He probably thought that Meech had just panicked and arranged the things incorrectly. Even though he was hot, he might have thought, all right, I'll take the fall, maybe Meech will take care of me when I'm in prison. But they did not return that loyalty. 3 of the lucky ones blew, trying to use everything he had saved for his life to fight the case. Furthermore, Lil Me and his group made no financial contributions throughout the entire ordeal. Utter silence. But the truth comes out in the end. 3 Luck has access to the body cam footage, which Lil Meech openly discloses to the police, showing further illegal objects in the vehicle. And then it all made sense. Then everything makes sense. Betrayal. Now everything starts to make sense. The betrayal then strikes Lux 3 times in the chest. And then he finally says something. Receipts and a sound recording of a phone call, in which Lil Meech is audibly apologizing, are among the things he instantly shares on Instagram. In fact, during the same call, Lil Meech vowed to keep him down and provide him some money once the BM scheme was restarted. Then, however, there were rumors that 50 Cent had called off the performance and that it would not be coming back. Sensing the fire, 3 Lucks reached out again and again. Once again, Lil Meech offered guarantees, but no help or support was forthcoming. 3 lucky people then finally get to see the body cam footage. His discovery of proof that Lil Meech had cheated on him was the last straw. He tells everyone about everything. Nothing to hide, no filters. Besides, even though it's a terrible appearance for Lil Meech, people weren't too startled. And why? In light of the long-standing rumors that he is disloyal, and the same is claimed about his father. Both of them have a history of betraying individuals, according to rumors. That suspect agent, they don't even like 50 Cent anymore because of it.
I need to what? To have a firearm. I'm talking about that. Huh? Talking about the other guy? Yeah.
50 Cent has the power to treat Lil Meech with real dignity in Hollywood and on the streets. There were other people he cast in the BM series besides Meech JRB. He was given a whole lane, a photo protector, industry connector, mentor, and big brother all in one. 50 was riding hard for Lil Meech for a while, even shielding him from the usual heat that comes with being the child of a street icon. That relationship, however, blew up in 2025, and the ensuing conflict was well publicized, loud, and ugly. It all started with Big Meech's release from jail. The occasion should have been a great celebration. Since Pops is no longer with us, his son has already made a name for himself by playing him in a well-liked TV show. There was a whole new generation being introduced to the burning legacy of the BM. But Big Meech then did something that caught 50 Cent completely off guard. They lost whatever unity they had there. It was not a lap of glory, but the start of a disastrous fallout. Big Meech partnered with Rick Ross, one of 50 Cent's most ardent longtime rivals, and put on a grandiose welcome home show. It was, indeed, the boundary that 50 felt should never have been crossed, especially since he was the one who kept the Meech name alive in popular culture, on TV, and even financially behind the scenes by casting Lil Meech in that capacity.
So I really took a chance on using the money I had saved up for my family.
I apologize for that, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
By 50, he had devoted a considerable amount of time, money, and effort to the Fennery family. He now felt totally duped. What did 50 do then? He reached for his most incisive weapon, the internet. He posted it all over Instagram, commenced firing at Little Meech and Big Meech. Don't keep back. In one of his more ludicrous posts, he posted an image of a large rat that went viral along with the sardonic remark, "I think I'm Big Meech." It was a chilled parody of the well-known Rick Ross quote. He was essentially calling Big Meech a snitch at face value. That post set the internet on fire. "They called me Big Meech," he asserted. However, it didn't stop there. The heat was turned up to full blast for Little Meech at 50. He started disclosing details behind the scenes, stating Little Meech was getting high and behaving out during production, so she had to be sent to rehab. Furthermore, 50 provided proof in addition to his statements. With Amy Winehouse's recuperation pasted over a photo of Little Meech slumped in a wheelchair, he wrote, "Damn, this is bad," as the caption. "You believe me now? Utter shame." To downplay it, Little Meech told TMZ, "Everyone needs rehab where I'm from, but 50 wasn't done. I believe he's trying to get more attention for this big show I'm planning." Then, 50 becomes upset over that. He shared the video and further clowned Meech, saying something slick like, he must not have heard them say cut. By this point, Meech could actually feel the pressure, claiming that Meech was trying too hard to look like a gangster even when the cameras weren't recording. His goal was to reach 50 in an effort to quiet things down behind the scenes, but that tactic didn't last long. In the leaked text messages, Little Meech came out as offended, confused, and utterly unprepared. He said, "I've only ever shown you love," in a note addressed to 50. "I didn't change. I don't get this online thing." He's trying to show his continuous devotion by saying, "You're actually acquainted with me." However, he offered my dad some bread to assist him in covering his expenses till the next season, even mocking Rick Ross in those same texts with the joke KF Ross. However, he didn't believe it. He did not keep those communications private. Instead, he condemned them on Instagram, together with a humorous caption, publicly mocking Meech. He even implied that the BMF program will be terminated. Then he made it quite apparent, "I'm the Meech company is done." Then he cut all ties suddenly. After that, the environment around Lil Meech, both in the streets and in the industry, dramatically transformed. When someone who is respected, brutal, and considered as real, like 50 Cent, publicly attacks you for being unappreciative and dishonest, that representative remains. Allegiance is important, especially in hip-hop. Beefing doesn't have to be fatal. It's career suicide, though, if people think you left the man who gave you your opportunity. Adding insult to injury, Lil Meech's next moves ruined any chance of a comeback. He did not stay low or try to clean up the mess. Instead, he went into full rebel mode. Two of 50 Cent's fiercest adversaries, Floyd Mayweather and Rick Ross, were seen alongside him at a party in Miami. That isn't one
thing, or did he just kind of unfollow Lil Meech?
Well, he posted a rap. Said
that exemplifies a competing circle from the 1950s. He made it worse after that. On social media, he posted a picture of them along with the caption, "Real Power." That's a clear jab at the Power franchise from the 1950s. To rewrite history, his crew asserted that Meech was indifferent, focused on new business plans, and conducting his own affairs without 50. But at the time, nobody was interested in purchasing it. It just confirmed what 50 had been saying all along, which was that Lil Meech lacked genuine loyalty and would switch sides as soon as circumstances got tough. According to many, 50 Cent shut that door for good. His followers followed suit, and Lil Meech, once seen as a rising star and the future BMF heir, became seen by many as simply another wealthy kid who made a major blunder and damaged his relationship with the very people who had initially made him successful. And in a society that values honesty, loyalty, and deference, Little Meech longs to blend in. You can stop using those. Little Meech's moniker is pretty much all that remains, and even that can be rapidly destroyed if the mess keeps piling up. Apart from the 3 Luck problem and the massive blowout with 50 Cent, he has made a lot of small mistakes throughout his career. While not important enough to ruin his career on its own, taken as a whole, it presents a sloppy picture. Every few months, it seems like someone starts criticizing him for a new cause, a new narrative, or another viral incident. And attempting to keep up a reputation as legendary as Big Meech doesn't help with that kind of constant attention. Let's go back to 2022 now. Meech was detained on charges of fraud and grand theft while on a watch in Miami. But not any old watch. $250,000 for a Richard Mille. He reportedly went into delivering a Rolex as collateral. The upscale jeweler dipped and scooped the Richard Mille, still paying nearly $200,000 in debt. The fact that he reportedly tried to exchange the same watch at another store as if it were completely his made it much more suspicious. That move sounded like it was made by a scammer. The story had already been created on the internet, even though the accusations were later withdrawn. The BM celebrity was arrested for watch fraud instead of acting or legacy when the story went viral. What a terrible sight. He seemed more like a kid than a boss, doing way too much to bother the gram. It has also not been a nice time for him personally. His friendship with Summer Walker, an R&B performer, quickly turned into blog fodder. Despite posting a few cute moments on social media, the backstage area was a disaster. After rumors of cheating started to spread, one of the strangest things ever happened. The whole Musty situation. On live, comedian Jess Funny ridiculed Lil Meech, saying he smelled awful. She mockingly called him musty on TV in front of everyone, saying that Summer Walker must have had a strong stomach to tolerate him. One joke in particular infuriated the internet. Now consider this. Because Meech is the son of a mobster with a legacy to uphold and a tough guy image to develop, the internet is criticizing him for not wearing deodorant. His only attempt at a response was to criticize humorous Jess. "You didn't think I smelled bad back then." He posted previous direct chats in which she was allegedly flirting with him, but the damage was already done. If left to their own devices, these episodes could seem like the typical celebrity blunders made by any young, well-known man. However, a totally different image starts to appear when everything is aligned. Little Meech doesn't seem like a cunning street star. He comes across as reckless and underdeveloped, as though he is merely utilizing his father's name without truly earning the respect that goes along with it. His contributions are not valued by the hip-hop community, especially by the original artists and those who truly live that lifestyle. They see through the Instagram tricks and red carpet drama. They only see the surface, and placing him next to Big Meech creates a stark contrast. Big Meech faced real consequences, made something out of nothing, and took real chances. The BM torch should be carried by Lil Meech, in their opinion. This child isn't built that way. Furthermore, it is not related to having a comfortable childhood or going to a private school. No one seems to mind that he has a better life than his parents. What's really wrong is the act itself. One fan said it plainly. For going to a fancy school, 50 did not make fun of Lil Meech. His act of pretending he didn't was ridiculed. That is the beginning of it all. Sincerity. That's the one thing about hip-hop and real street culture that you can't mimic. You cannot be tough if you have never been truly strained. You cannot claim the grind if you fail to weather the storm. And when your name is Meech, the bar is considerably higher. Picking fights online, pursuing influence, getting caught in meaningless drama, and acting like you were born to fight in the trenches will not earn you respect from others. They will find it funny.
Only the people who are still foolish enough to believe that BMF is still in its glory days, yeah, only those idiots would be surprised by a revelation like this. Okay? To the people watching this channel, and anyone else with a brain and the eyes to see, would have seen this coming from a mile away. I mean, Little Meech has been a snake ever since, I don't know, he might have been a snake ever since he was born. I think dude was, I think he was raised by snakes. Because actually we know he was. Big Meech is a snake. Big Meech betrayed 50. Dishonorable. A fraud. Someone who cannot be trusted under any circumstances, ever. Okay? So Big Meech is a snake. and Little Meech is his son. That's his little seed, right? So what's gonna happen with Little Meech? He's gonna be even worse, right? A snake who was never respected, that's even worse. At least Big Meech got his respect by building it out of nothing. He built that empire brick by brick. You know what I mean? Layer by layer. Day by day, he was at it. I mean, regardless of what you feel about what BMF did and the morality around it, you gotta respect the dedication and the grind that he had and the work ethic to get this stuff off the ground. Even though maybe it's not your normal type of work ethic, right? It's a little bit more, there's more aggression behind it. But nonetheless, you know, that can still be admirable in many ways. Not something like that is not easily achievable, right? Even if you had the exact amount of weight that these guys were moving, you still might not have the connections and the logistical prowess to be able to do these things without getting caught and do them at a high enough level to scale up like BMF did, right? So impressive nonetheless. And that's why Big Meech got his respect, right? Before he snaked out 50, he was already respected. Little Meech, on the other hand, we kind of look at you like, you know, you're like a less embarrassing version of like a King Harris. You're like a less embarrassing version of that, and a less rich version of that too. You're a less embarrassing, less rich version, less wealthy version of King Harris. Right? That's how like everyone looks at you, bro. We don't respect you like people respected Big Meech. No, you look like a goofy. You're a Little Meech. You ain't never pressed a button in the street. You ain't never done nothing in the street, bro. Come on now. You ain't never pushed nobody's wig back. You ain't never pushed bricks across the water. You're not that guy, pal. You're living off your daddy's name. That's an L. You don't have anything to your own name, bro. You don't have anything to your own legacy. You're living off of BMF former glory days. That's over now. That's over. You can't live off that no more. 50 took that away from you. Really, y'all took it away from yourselves because y'all wanted to betray 50. Y'all thought it was going to be cool. You know, we meeting up with Ross. Ross got the bag right now. He's got that instant gratification that we want. This is how black people do things. They'll betray you in a short-sighted manner because they can only see from a short-sighted view of what's going to be beneficial right now. That's all black people care about. What's beneficial right now. Not every black person in the world, but a large, overwhelming majority, okay? I would stand on that, debate it with anyone. No one will ever beat me in that debate ever. I'll crush you and destroy you, demolish you, and annihilate you in front of everyone on this planet, okay? You don't want to debate me on that. You don't want to. So just sit in your place and listen to what I'm saying right now, okay? But yeah, a majority of black people have this type of mentality where they want what's beneficial in the moment. They don't really care about the future. They don't really think about far ahead. This is why we have so many single mothers, because it's beneficial in the moment to, you know what I mean? To get that pleasure off. It's beneficial in the moment to get that pleasure off, but you're not thinking about the repercussions of what's going to happen later on down the line from that one single moment of pleasure, right? This is how black people think, man. And this is a major problem with black people. This is a problem. This is a problem, people. This is a crisis, okay? Something that needs to be addressed, acknowledged, and annihilated, right? And dismantled, right? And until we have that, we're going to keep seeing situations like this, right? We're going to keep seeing black people snake on each other. I'm not even really worried about the whole Little Meech and Big Meech thing part of it. Yeah, that's whatever, you know. They never really had any morals to begin with. These guys were always scumbags. Let's get real, okay? I would have never trusted a Big Meech or a Little Meech ever in my life, okay? You're an idiot if you would have trusted anyone who is willing to basically unalive their own people to make millions, okay? No matter how impressive it is. You don't trust or respect that, okay? You gotta be a fool, right? And so, yeah, I've always known that, you know, these guys have always been snakes. But the real problem is it's a bigger problem than these two snakes. You know, who cares about these clowns? The real problem is the black community. We need to eliminate that problem where people always want to snake each other out because they think there's a quick instant gain. You know, this is why we've came up with the term backdoor. You know, in white communities, there's no term called backdoor. Like, okay, do you understand what that means? That means that in the black community, it is so common for someone to snake their own brother out, or someone who looks like them, right? It is so common for them to betray someone who looks like them and possibly leave them for dead, or leave them broke with nothing, or with their belongings taken from them, right? And that's how popular it is to do that in our community, that we've coined a term for it called backdoor. You gotta watch that back door. You know, we've made a colloquialism for this scenario because it's so prevalent. It happens every single day. That's a problem. That's a crisis. That's not okay. You can't just listen to what I'm saying and it's going in one ear and out the other. No, we need to make an actual change about this. You know, we need to be speaking about this. We need to be getting my message out here. We need to be getting this message out here. Not only my message, Umar's message. A lot of other people in the community who are speaking this message. Jay Main's talking about this type of stuff, right? Like this video, like videos like these. Make sure that this stuff gets out there. It's up to you guys too, right? We all got to work together on this or we're not going to see a change. And I hope everyone who's watching this agrees that it's a problem. It is a massive problem that backdooring, and basically what I should say is betraying your own brother, betraying someone who looks just like you for instant gratification, an instant quick flip, an instant win, an instant robbery, right? It's so common that it's actually a term that is only really used to describe our communities. No one else uses backdoor. You won't hear an Indian saying, oh yeah, he was about to backdoor me, bro. I had to watch for that backdoor. Yeah, that might not be a good accent, but still, you understand? You're not gonna hear that. You're not gonna hear that. You're not gonna hear any of these other people talking about that. You're not about to hear, you're definitely not about to hear a Jewish person saying, you gotta watch that back door, unless they're talking about black communities and making a joke. You know what I mean? But you're never gonna hear them saying that about their own community, because Jewish people don't backdoor each other. They help each other. They uplift each other in every way possible. That's why they became a global superpower, right? Because they were incredibly intelligent. they knew that, okay, wait, if we work together, we'll be stronger than everyone else, because everyone else is disillusioned. Everyone else is separated. You know, they have no community. They have no structure. We're going to destroy them. We're going to crush them. You know what I mean? And they were absolutely right. You know, they had a brilliant strategy. It worked 1000%. It was 1000% effective. You know, it was effective, and they were able to dominate the global sphere through that. Swear to God, this is what happened. This is what's possible. You know, they didn't start out like that. They started out oppressed. They started out oppressed, bro. They did not start out like that, bro. They did not start out like that. But now, look where they're at. After everything happened in World War II, they were like, nah, you ain't better hear that. Ain't never gonna happen like that again, bro. I promise you. We finna become a global superpower, and no one's gonna want to speak bad about us, because even just speaking about us bad is going to get you, yeah, you know what I mean? So they flipped the whole script on the world. That's what black people need to do, but we're way too ignorant to do stuff like that. Not because we don't have the capability, but because we're too ignorant, and we're too deep inside of this degenerate culture. We're too deep in this hedonism, right? And we're too obsessed with the idea of backdooring people who look like us for a quick instant gain, right? Which is ultimately going to be fleeting and something that has no longevity to it. It'll be something that will come and go. And once it goes, you have nothing. You don't have your people. You don't have a community. You don't have trust. You don't have respect. All you have is the scent of betrayal on you. You know what I mean? All you have is the look of a traitor. That is all you have at that point. Hold up, there's a fly. Let me kill this fly, bro. But yeah, y'all, let me know your thoughts about everything I was mentioning in this video in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, like the video, subscribe, turn on notifications if you want to see more content from an intellectual titan like myself, right? You want to see more mind-blowing, thought-provoking content that we're dropping every single day, right? You want to see more of this, then you know what to do. You know what to do. You want to be a part of a community of like-minded individuals, people on a higher level of consciousness, people who are above, a cut above the degenerates, who are still believing that BMF are somehow in their glory days, because Big Meech is out now, because Big Meech is home. Get the hell out of here, you delusional idiot. Get out of my face. Just get out of my face with that delusion. Okay? Right? Are you, if you're a cut above those degenerates, and you want to be a part of a community of like-minded individuals, right? Then you know what to do. Don't make me say it again. So I was right here. Tuning out. Be easy, y'all.